started. Here we go. There we go. We're recording, which is great. That actually meets one of our values that we are trying to promote around transparency and broadening channels of communication. So these meetings are being recorded, and then I believe the goal is to share them on our YouTube channel.
We haven't got there yet, but we will, yes. And if anyone would like a recording of last month's, that was the first one that we recorded.
Great. Okay, so moving forward, we're building this practice into how we operate. So we'll do introductions in a minute. Just before we begin introductions, want to ground everybody in the values of the Old Town Community Association around education, transparency, collaboration, and activate. And I like to start the meetings with giving an example of how these values showed up in the course of the last month. So last month, and we'll hear maybe a little bit more about it in the board meeting. But we had a volunteer who engaged the board in a strategic planning session with the board. It's a very new board. There are very few people that were on the board prior to this iteration of the board. And so it was a 2.5 hour, 3 hour session, 3 hours, yes, hosted by Matthew at the Hoxton. And it was the first time the whole group, minus, I'm sorry, Timothy and Lance, were not able to attend, but it was a great session in terms of getting to know people, starting to build relationships, and also developing a shared vision for what Old Town is and the priorities that we need to be focused on for our immediate and longer term success. So I really appreciate everybody that participated in that. More will come as we move that strategic planning session into actual actionable items that we're going to be pursuing. So with that, I'm going to open it up into introductions. I'm Elizabeth Nye, the Executive Director of Lansu Chinese Garden and current OTCA Board Chair.
I'm Timothy Vesper, Director of the Burnside Shelter for the Portland Rescue Mission and Board Secretary.
I'm Peter Cunningham. I am the Board Treasurer.
Go ahead.
Well, guest, Robert Fraser, and I'm a guest. I'm a member of the Portland Sister City Association.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Clark. I'm a former board member and property owner in Old Town, and currently a volunteer with our Lantern Project and also the fundraising committee.
Hi, my name is Ruby Dean, and today's my first day. I'm the summer intern for Lori.
Welcome.
I'm Irie, market coordinator for the Portland Saturday Market.
All right.
I'm Jamie Evenstar. I've been invited on your agenda today. I'm running for City Council District 4 for Chatham.
Great.
I'm Larry Turner, Resource Coordinator and Peer Support Specialist at St. Andrews Catholic Church.
I'm Linda Barney Ridgway. I'm a longtime resident here and a former board member. And I joined several of you as a member of the fundraising and membership committee. Big fan.
I'm Ryan Hashkin. I run Icicle Tricycles and Better Block PDX and nonprofit public spaces here.
And board member.
And a board member.
Yes. 612, right? Good afternoon. My name is Neil Lee. I'm an architect, but I'm also vice president of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association. I'm also on the OTCA board, and I co-chair the Arts and Culture Committee.
I'm Kevin Gwynn. I'm a board member. I'm a property owner down here, and yes.
Matt Skelton, general manager of the Hoxton Hotel, OTCA board member, and no.
I'm Sarah King. I'm the Old Town project manager at Prosper Portland.
I'm Dariana Sewell. I'm here with Columbia Bank. I'm Nettie Castro. I'm here with Columbia Bank.
Dr. Also Columbia Bank.
In force.
Lori Wecheck, the Executive Director of the Old Town Community Association.
Okay, and then online, Hanako.
Hi everyone, I'm Hanako Wakatsuki-jong. I'm the Executive Director of the Japanese American Museum of Oregon, and I'm on the board of OTCA.
Tommy. Tommy, can you hear us?
Oh, sorry. Yes, hi, I'm Tommy. I'm the owner of Kiki's in Stumptown Otaku.
Thank you. Richard? Hi, Richard, can you hear us?
Yes, Rick Miller. I'm the owner of the building at 6th and Gleason, 618 Northwest Gleason.
Welcome. Jasmine?
Thank you.
Hey everyone, this is my first meeting as well, Jasmine Rucker. I'm the Leadership Development Director at Imagine Black, a nonprofit organization at 222 Northwest Davis Street in the Merchant Hotel building. Yeah, I just wanted to join y'all. Thank you for having a hybrid meeting option.
Welcome, glad you're here. Chris?
Chris Pick, property owner, run Can, also OTCA board member. And yeah, sorry I can't be there today. I'm dialing in from Seattle.
Right, and you co-chair with Neil, the Arts and Culture.
Who's the co-chair? He's my
Co-chair,
partner.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, great. Dennis?
Yeah.
Dennis? Yes.
Working on it. We'll come back to you, Carlos.
Hey everybody, my name is Carlos. I am helping Lori out with the creative direction for the OTCA as far as Instagram and like our online presence.
Great. So Dennis just put in the chat that his mic's not working, but he's working as a designer with Lori.
Yeah.
Great. Sydney.
Hey folks, Sydney Mead, Senior Director of Downtown Programs for Downtown Portland Clean and Safe and the Portland Metro Chamber. I'm so sorry my camera is not working, but I am happy to be here.
Thank you. Dan.
Howdy, hey, Dan Lynn's a business and property owner, and interestingly enough, a few owners ago, I was 618 building owner.
Oh, wow. And Anna.
Hi, y'all. Anna Truxas, Portland Chinatown Museum. Thanks for doing this hybrid as well for me.
Have we missed anybody online? Everybody else in the room? Here. Okay, well, welcome. We're going to start off with announcements, including the first one around the Old Town Community and Economic Health Assessment.
Hi, so I have sent, I've got a whole bunch of announcements, and the Old Town Community and Economic Health Assessment is a survey that I'm going to be sending out to those who have properties and businesses in the area, just to get an understanding about how the OTCA can better serve our business community and property community. And so I will be reaching out. That said, we are also readdressing our mailing list. So please look out for the emails where you will have the opportunity to resubscribe to various different communications so that we know that we are making sure that we're serving you appropriately and not flooding you with emails that you are not necessarily relevant. So, yeah. I think it will be really great to quantify kind of where we're at and how the OTCA can better serve our population, and how you as businesses and property owners, residents included, can have a forum to express your neighborhood concerns and how we can help. I have a list of announcements here. The next one is First Thursday, which is tomorrow. There will be a post on Instagram, which Carlos has put together, rounding up all of the different art things that are happening here in the neighborhoods. There's a bunch. So if you're not on Instagram, you can definitely shout me and I will send that over to you directly. The newsletter is also coming out today, so we'll be in that as well. The the Community Library of Things, thanks to District 4 Coalition, and the grant that we received from them last year is now finished and complete and ready to go. So far we have supported 10 different events with the stuff, and we will be rolling out the sort of marketing materials and letting people know how they can book online in the next couple of weeks. Before I keep going, is there any announcements that anyone else would like to make at this point? Yes, Irie?
Yeah, so as the market has, we have our monthly afternoons. This one is going to be on July 25th. We're working with the Pacific Northwest Glass Guild to do a free glass like pendant making workshop. So that's a really great way to get like the community down to the market. And also right now, this is more just for like local businesses and things. The sponsorship opportunities are open for our Pug-a-Palooza, which is the last Saturday of August. They're partnering with the Pacific Pug Rescue. It's their second annual one. We do like a pug pageant. Last year we had 90 pugs participate, and I brought down a bunch of people, not only down to the market, but like to Old Town as a whole, which is really cool. So if anybody wants to do, it doesn't even be a financial sponsorship, but prizing for our prize baskets for the winners or different like signs or anything like that, get in touch with me. Lori has my email, but it's also just marketing@saturdaymarket.org. So that's a great way just to get your business involved with the market. We love connecting with you guys.
So I will share that Lansu is hosting its first Lotus Festival, kicking off on the 3rd. And we have installed 100 new lotus in the lake bed, and we will have 16 varieties of lotus on display at the garden, including every available color of lotus to be seen. We're the only public garden in the entire Pacific Northwest where you can view lotus. And so all month long, there'll be activations both for artists, families, people, etc., including a lotus vendor market, but tons of different activations all month long regarding lotus in the garden.
Awesome. Anyone else online? So the next thing on my list is to tell you that we kicked off Old Town Dance last Saturday with Darcells. We were very grateful to have had an opportunity to test out the technology and the formats and the run of show. The calendar is now locked in, which is incredible. It's been a very busy time for the partners involved, including Darcells, who have just opened Darcells Plaza, ourselves, and the wonderful Paris Theater, who just launched Dolly as well. We have dance teachers from the Paris Theater. We have Daniel Jerome, and we have Darcells Showgirls hosting every Saturday between 11 and 12. Now, I understand, I spoke to PBOT yesterday. The street closure where Darcell outside of CC's and Old Town Pizza, where the class is being held from 11 till 12, that street will be closed from 10 to 12:30. Last week, they had posted it to be closed for the entire day. That is no longer the case. It will just be closed from 10 to 12:30 going forward, and really hope that the community comes out. We are promoting this all over the suburbs through dance studios and every online calendar that we can find. I hope will generate a nice amount of fluidity through the neighborhoods and a cadence of regular people coming down who will, go and hang out at Saturday Market afterwards.
We'd love to have
it. I have one more update, which is from TriMet about the purchase of the building next door. I'm going to read out the text message because I invited them to come here, and they said that they're still in a due diligence process and they have not made a final decision about the purchase. Hey Lori, thanks for the email. I just checked with the real estate team. The update is that we still need some feedback from the city and we're extending our due diligence period so we can continue to get more info on cost feasibility. Because of this, we're now looking at a closing date of mid-September at the earliest. With this change, I think a presentation will be better for your August meeting when we have more details to share. Right now, I don't have anything else to update on. So, spread the word, and hopefully we'll see them August. I think 6th is our next meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more community updates people want to share? Any online?
We've got the Steelbridge Skate Park, the Parks and Rec Department has a survey out right now on the 2 design options that Dow has done. Deadline is today. They've had this up the last month since the last open house, but feel free.
Do you have a preference on that? If I jump in today?
My concerns are about the access and the pedestrian spaces. I'm concerned about the loo. The loo has been removed and we're being told that the Steelbridge Skate Park loo is gonna be the replacement for Old Town bathrooms. That's a concern.
Yeah.
So.
I've had an update with Anne this week that the loo is being replaced. They're not sure exactly where it's gonna go yet, but it is being replaced.
I'm not sure where it's gonna go or when it's gonna go in or how much it's gonna cost or where there was a net benefit to that, which is that area is no longer a loitering area.
Yeah.
So.
There's like been an impact of human waste and.
Right, with a significant impact and an impact on my building, so.
Oh, I have an update, a very exciting update to give everyone. Now that we're in the update section, I need to open up my notes because I met with Ty and I don't think he made it online, but
I'm on here, Lori.
Will you share the good news, please?
Introduce yourself, please, and then.
Sure. Good morning. Oh, I guess it's good afternoon now, everybody. I'm Ty Engstrom, Portland Police Bureau. I'm a lieutenant, and I oversee our Central Precinct Day Shift Patrol Division, as well as our neighborhood response team and our full-time bicycle officers. So just wanted to give a quick update on a mission that we've been working for the last 6 months and how it's going to pivot and change slightly and hopefully have a greater impact. So between day shift and night shift, Lieutenant Tackett, who oversees night shift, he and I worked with our sergeants to create some mini missions. Now, obviously, everyone knows we're super short staffed, and we're trying to do what we can with the reduced resources we have. And so we came up with these on day shift. It was a Thursday mission. And on night shift, they did a Monday mission. Now, don't let the name fool you. It actually corresponds to our Thursday or Monday, which happens to be every day of the week for somebody in our profession. So if it is a certain officer or sergeant's Thursday, which would be their third work day of the 4-day work week, they would get together and do a mission for a few hours in the morning for our team. And they would focus on a problem area or maybe a problem they're having in the district they normally work, or maybe a traffic concern, just a myriad of different opportunities to break up the monotony of going from call to call to call, let the other officers take care of all the calls while those officers go and work a focused mission. So it allowed us to also tackle some of these neighborhood livability issues that were kind of fallen by the wayside. So we've done that for about 6 months. It's been very productive, gives the officers a little change to their daily activity, which they've appreciated, but we're going to change it a little bit. The vast majority of complaints and concerns that we receive through PMO meetings, neighborhood association meetings, emails, mayor's office, everything, focus on the same geographical regions of Central Precinct. And so I've been kind of keeping track of all those types of complaints and kind of putting them in small baskets based on geographical area. And we've come up with basically 6 hotspot areas here in Central Precinct. Now, Central Precinct is everything on the west side of the river, and then everything on the east side of the river out to Cesar Chavez. 5 of those hotspot areas are actually in downtown, and 2 of them are either in or border Old Town. And so what we're going to do, instead of having these, sergeant and 4 officers or so do something for just a couple hours, we're going to put out a 2-person, what we call a beat car, a foot patrol, every day of the week for the entire shift. And it's not just going to be for a couple hours in the morning, but everyone needs to understand and pass the word that this is out of hide, meaning these officers coming to do this work means more work on all the other officers to take on the call load. And, it could increase some call response times a little bit because we've got some officers that are pulled doing this other detail, but we feel like it's extremely valuable. What I'm going to ask them to do on day shift is spend the whole day in hotspot areas. And I don't just want them to hit all 6 of them in one day where it doesn't feel like they're really there because they're bouncing around. I want them to spend their whole day in 1 or 2 at the most hotspot areas. And so for Old Town, the 2 hotspot areas would be, and this is, so it would be Northwest 3rd from Burnside to Gleason is one of them, that whole stretch of 3rd, but it also includes, a kind of a 2-block radius, right? So I want them to stay within that 2-block radius of 3rd Avenue for either the whole day or maybe half the day or whatever. And then the other one would be centered around the North Park blocks and then all the way across Broadway to like Oasis, Bud Clark Commons, and that whole region over there. So the idea is that every day of the week, we will have 2 officers teamed up, and that is their job for the day. Now, if, all heck breaks loose and we've got something crazy, shooting, stabbings, whatever, obviously they're going to be pulled back to help out where we need them. But if it's just a standard day of 911 calls and stuff like that, they're going to be focused on doing these patrols. And I want them to be out on foot. That's going to be some extra visibility, which is probably going to move some of the problems around, and maybe they're going to go to a different hotspot area, the clientele. But they're also going to disrupt illegal behavior, open air drug dealing and drug use, as well as I want them to get into the businesses, say hi to people, meet the businesses. I want you to meet the officers that are working hard in your area so that you get to know their faces, their names, know who they are, and so we can work together to solve some of these problems. So anyway, I hope this is going to have a positive impact on livability, on cleaning up some of the, the just pointless loitering and drug use and stuff that we see in a lot of these areas, as well as help folks get to know the officers that are working their areas. So it's not going to be perfect, and we're going to kind of kick it off here this next week, but we are going to do our very best and see how it turns out.
So first of all, I think if you're not in the room, but I think people here are visibly relieved and excited that this is happening. And I know we have a question that is coming in from Chris. So Chris, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, I just wanted, it was more of a comment, and I don't know if this was part of the same mission that you're speaking of, but I just wanted to thank you for the presence in Ankeny Alley that we've seen lately. We've seen officers walking through the alley and talking to people and being there. And I cannot tell you, it almost brought tears to my eyes to see someone actively engaging in community in an area that I haven't seen, unless there's something desperate going on. I haven't seen an officer there in the last few years that is there to sort of say hi and be part of the community. It was absolutely amazing. So I just want to thank you and tell you how grateful we were.
That is great feedback, and I really like to hear those types of comments, because that's stuff I can take back to my team every day in roll call. When we're talking about things that we need to do, I like expressing to them the appreciation that our community members and business owners feel for them, and how much it means to you to see them out and about, not just driving past in a car, but out and about talking to people, engaging, being a part of the community, part of the business association. And so that means a lot. Appreciate that. One extra little piece, first of all, I think entertainment detail has been spending some time. That's our evening crew that works a lot of the entertainment areas. They've been spending some time in Ankeny Alley, as well as our patrol officers. But one of the other things that we're going to look at now that it's after July 1st is our neighborhood response team and our bike team officers have been spending, well, starting in November, they were doing probably 75 to 80% of their time. Their whole work week was spent with camp cleanup type stuff. A few months ago, we reduced it back to just 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now that we're into July, we're going to reevaluate again and see if we can reduce that even more, or at least switch it up to where those 2 days a week can mostly be for the neighborhood response team, so that we can free up our bicycles to get out there more often. Because having 50% of our bicycles time spent doing camp cleanup takes away from their main purpose, which is being down here in the business district, disrupting this illegal activity and the open air drug use and dealing. And I've got a bike sergeant and 4 bike officers that unfortunately spend a lot of time dealing with camps and stuff. So we want to get the bike team back out there more prevalently. So between the bikes and our detail, the entertainment detail, and this foot beat patrol that we're going to do on day shift, I really hope that we can have some better engagement with the community, with the businesses, and help people that are visiting your establishments and coming down here on the weekends and the evenings feel more comfortable and feel safer. So anyway.
That's incredible. There wasn't a business owner that was working that night that didn't notice and come out, and we were all like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing we've ever seen. So it was absolutely amazing. So we are eternally grateful. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, and as you're embarking on this new strategy, anything that you need from the community, if you could communicate that, to us and through Lori and others.
Communication wise, whatever, if we can do anything to assist the process. And I just want to say that I know it's in the loop, but that stretch from 2nd to 4th on Flanders is really important to us culturally. And to that corridor between Jamo and Lansu is essential in terms of getting people back to Old Town.
Yeah. I was with Lori this morning at Union Gospel Mission there at 3rd and Burn, and I took the long way around to get there. I went all the way up to Gleason and then drove down 3rd because I just wanted to look at all of 3rd between Gleason and Burnside. And it wasn't horrific this morning, but there is still a lot of work that can be done. And you're talking about Flanders. That's exactly where I saw some folks just kind of sitting along there. There was a tent at the skate park, in the skate park, stuff like that. So yeah, we want to hopefully disrupt a lot of that behavior. And one thing that I would say to all of you is, as you see these officers get out there and start doing these foot patrols, cops are like anybody else. You ask them to do something new and different, and there might be some hemming and hawing, they got to change it up again. Here's the new great idea, but I got to get their buy-in, right? And as you see them out and about, please stop them and talk to them. Thank them, share your appreciation, introduce yourselves. It gets a little bit old as the officer trying to introduce yourself to 20 different people in the day. It's nice every once in a while when someone comes and introduces themselves to us and, and kind of breaks that up a little bit. So say hi to them, tell them you appreciate them, and help them enjoy this opportunity of a new idea, a new mission moving forward. All right, I'm going to jump off, but most of you have my email address. Lori's got it if you need it. We really appreciate the communication. I appreciate you all being our eyes and ears. I'll actually type my email address in the chat here so you've got it in case you need it. And we're here to help.
Thank you so much. I think
before he goes real quick, Anna says, we'd love to invite you to the Portland Chinatown Museum anytime Thursday to Sunday, 11 to 3. Bye.
And Ty, I think there was a question, a hand up or two.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Tommy.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what Chris said. There's been just having officer present on Davis Street alone for the last week has been amazing because Officer Nate Jones comes here for breakfast every day, and honestly, the street just been objectively cleaner and safer within there. We actually have a lot less people dealing fent right outside my cafe ever since he come here for breakfast every day. So I think this program will be great.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Tommy. Nate is awesome. Nate Jones is your district officer. He is the Old Town district officer. He's phenomenal. You may have seen him around. He was the guy with some super long hair and a beard in uniform, which sometimes didn't fit. But now he just got a haircut, so you may not recognize him as he's passing through. He just cut off his locks and is clean cut now. So anyway, he's a 10. Him and Dustin Barth are the two officers that work that area on a regular basis.
Awesome. Good to know. Great.
Yeah.
Tom?
Anyone else?
Yeah, we
Yes,
have one more.
one more. Thank you for this new initiative. I've been coming to these meetings for 10 years. And every year we get a visit from the Portland Police. Maybe it's the Central District leader. I don't know, can't remember who they all were, and every year we have heard, folks, we'd love to do something about this, but we're hamstrung. We don't have enough police officers. We have 2/3 of the number that we actually need. And it has been the same message reiterated for 10 years. I just want to thank you for figuring out how to rearrange a few priorities to take some more direct action in Old Town, and it is so needed. All you have to do is ask just about everybody in this room what their experiences are. I go out and do fundraising for this group, and I talk to a lot of property owners. They've all kind of given up because of what's actions on the street. So we desperately need this kind of attention, and I really, really appreciate, we all do, really appreciate what you brought.
Tom, if I can piggyback on that as well, I'd like to just add one comment. Tom and I were meeting, speaking of the companies we're targeting for fundraising efforts, Tom and I met with LRS Architects yesterday. This type of initiative, we heard right from leaders that they're so disappointed and so upset with being in Old Town. They're losing faith. They're losing, heart in being in our neighborhood. And this type of information, Ty, is going to really help build the commitment of our company leaders for staying. And this is the type of action that's going to really continue the commitment of the existing companies that are here and really build on, I think, number one, our fundraising efforts. We're out there really trying to talk to the companies and explain to them why we're here, what we're doing as OTCA to rebuild and help Old Town grow and move forward. So this is going to help our fundraising efforts as OTCA, but it's going to help the community overall. So I can't say, from a treasurer's perspective and from a fundraising perspective, how critical this new information is for us as we look forward to to rebuild OTCA and our treasurer's efforts. So thank you.
Timothy.
Also for everybody's, if you need to hear more from Ty or others, he is always present in the Northwest Problem Solvers, giving updates, always open. So if you're not participating in those meetings, please take advantage of it, because that's where we talk about a lot of safety issues for Old Town Chinatown. And the city really steps up in making sure that police is there.
It's also where nothing seems to happen.
Yes, but these conversations happen
Happening now.
Yeah, something's happening now, so let's
Dan.
So Ty and I go way back, and what I know about Ty is he's always been very frank and aggressive to get the job done, and he's very passionate about what he's doing. And if it's not working, he'll adjust for the better good of everybody. So appreciate y'all.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Dan.
To Ty. You're not
hey, I got a good team, and that's what makes it work out there. I sit at this desk a lot.
Oh, there you go. And,
I wanted
go ahead, and y'all have for some that don't know, there's a precinct in Old Town.
Yeah. Small.
I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that were mentioned real quick before I jump off. We talked about staffing and kind of doing more with less. And sometimes that can shoot you in the foot because they say, "Oh yeah, you're doing it all. You don't need more bodies." But with this budget cut that's taking place with regards to personnel staffing, we're not cutting any empty positions, and we are keeping our foot on the gas with hiring. Now, May was a particularly difficult month with a bunch of retirements. However, 2 weeks ago, we hired 16 police officers, and we are now slightly over 800. We've kind of dipped down into the 780s or so for a little while. We creep back up, and now of the 809 or so officers, 84 of them were hired this year. Those 16 got us to our goal, which is 21 per quarter or 84 per year. So we hit our goal. We hired 84 this fiscal year, and we plan on continuing to do the same thing. And now about 65 to 70% of our agency has less than 6 years on. 65 to 70% wasn't even here during COVID. It's crazy. And so our agency is so young, but that just means that as we keep our foot on the gas and continuing to hire to fill these vacant positions, and the retirements start to taper off, we're going to see an increase in staffing. We're going to see an increase in capacity. And so we're just going to keep doing as much as we can with everybody they give us. So, and then lastly, someone, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name, mentioned the revolving door of command staff and people here. And yes, it changes frequently, and I know that's difficult. We did just get some information that there won't be any command level changes, at least until the fall. So you've got me. I've been here for a year and a half or so. I will be here at least through the fall. Captain Shepard is phenomenal. And we have a new commander, Commander Derek Foxworth, who he's a 10. So you got a great team here ready to support you. Thank you for supporting us.
You're feeling a lot of love in the room.
All right. I see Carlos has his hand up, and then I'll leave you to it. I'm sure you have other business to attend to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to move on to the agenda. I'd like to invite Sarah to give us a brief update on Crossing Portland.
Everybody's favorite agency. We're just teasing. I'm not gonna stand up. I hope that's okay. So I know there's a lot of interest for updates on the Mason Urban Building, which is the building right across from Block 33. That was the Made in Old Town project. So I have some updates, not a lot, but some. And I'm happy to share anytime that I get updates. So we closed on the property yesterday, so we now have the keys in hand. We've toured through it a couple of times. What does it say here? It needs some TLC, but it's generally in good shape. That's what my property manager said. We have released an RFI, which is a request for interest for the annex space specifically, which is the shorter half. There's the annex and then the tower. And those are open until June 20th. It must be in July 20th.
She just closed on it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is a typo, July 20th. So on our website, if you know anybody who's interested, that's where all the information is and they can submit. We are going to be doing a big tour and open house that's open to anybody on the 9th from 4 to 6 p.m. We're also going to have a broker there that they'll talk about more about the specs of the building. I don't really know much about the specs of the building. For the tower, which is, that's more of the office space side, we're drafting a listing contract with Apex. There they are, to market the space piece. We won't have $1 per square foot until that's complete. But once that study is complete, then we'll know what the basic lease rate will be for that space. And then we will be hiring a broker full-time to lease up the building. What we're looking for primarily for the annex is flex, retail, office. I'm really pushing for retail, some sort of retail presence, because that helps with foot traffic. It gets people engaged in the area. And then we'll talk about what the rates will be and deal with folks who've given us information. I know that's not a very sexy update, but that's what I have right now.
Get the gas turned back on?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure what they've done, but I know that now that we have control over the building, things will start moving a lot faster. It's taken quite a while to get to this point. So that's all I have for that. I do want to give a very brief update on Block 33, which is the parking lot right next to the Mason Urban, across from the old bed stock. We took ownership of that a couple of months ago and have since worked with community, especially the businesses right around, nonprofits right around the lot, to kind of get input from them. We've had conversations with the nighttime economy businesses as well. And we finally have the new fence installed. We also have 4 new pole lights, so big floodlights that shine on the lot, and then we also have string lights that are cuter than floodlights. And all new signage. So all of the updates that we were gonna do are complete. There is potential to be doing some new tree planting around the lot because a lot of those trees are very old and unwell. But we have to figure out the funding for that. So, but those improvements have happened, and we have already received some feedback from police that there is a little bit less troublesome activity on the lot at night because of the lighting, I'm assuming. So that feels good. And
We've had someone ask, can you reinstate which property this is? The mic's a little bit quiet.
oh, sure. You mean the lot or the?
Initially, we were talking about Mid Town, and then we're talking about block 33,
Right.
the parking lot.
So the Mason Erman building is where the Maiden Old Town project was going to be. And the block 33 is the big full block parking lot right next to it.
So just to clarify, was their decision to not put it up for sale?
The building?
Yeah.
Evidently.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't a part of the conversations. I would assume that if somebody came forward and was very interested in buying the building, we could have that conversation, but I don't think anybody's jumping to buy it. Or I would maybe heard something about that. So, yeah. The other thing I wanted to share is now that there's a new board and leadership, I just want to sort of reintroduce my role at Prosper with all of you. I am the Old Town Relationship Manager and Project Manager, and I meet regularly with the board of the OTCA or with executive team, I guess, and I have for the last 3 years. And my understanding of those meetings was that the information shared in those meetings was being shared here. And that also that it went both ways. So if there were concerns from the community, we really relied on the OTCA folks that we were meeting with to share those concerns with us, bring questions to us, ideas for projects, whatever it was. And so I just want to remind everyone that that is my role and that I am meeting regularly with these folks and I'm always available. Everybody has my email. You can call me, you can text me, but it might end up in a Lamb week, so I don't recommend it. But I just want to remind folks that I take it very seriously to communicate with everyone in Old Town. I'm very passionate about the district. I grew up in this district, getting into all kinds of trouble when I was younger. One of my first jobs was as a janitor at Saturday Market when I was 19. So I am very committed, and anytime something needs to be communicated, I really, really welcome and encourage it. And I just want to make sure that.
Is it fair to say that OTCA is not a gatekeeper to you?
No,
Exactly.
I am available for sure. But also, since we have regular meetings, it's convenient if like things are coming up, I just assume that I'm gonna be hearing about those things. So, but no, anybody can reach out to me anytime.
And if you need connection, I regularly connect people directly with Sarah. Tommy says, one thing I want to say is that many of the grants from Prosper Portland are really inaccessible for many small businesses because of the red tapes. I've sent numerous messages to the public facing email for help and essentially got ghosted. Is there a better contact? Tommy, I will connect you directly with Sarah or the actual individual grant teams as well.
There are changes coming at Prosper. I'm actually gonna be taking on more of the grant work for Old Town specifically. All of the relationship managers in the TIP districts will be, so definitely reach out to me. And I know that they can be really complicated and I'm happy to unravel and work on it.
Yeah, Tommy and some other businesses had brought up at the land use committee about the reimbursement system and how right now it requires businesses to make the full expenses and then get reimbursed after the fact. And there's like some broken windows around the neighborhood that aren't being fixed because they don't have the money to front. So if there's any way to change that approval process and.
There are mechanisms in place to make exceptions and I have made several. It's just about me knowing. So I'm happy to help figure that stuff out, different payment methods, us paying vendors directly, that kind of thing, it can all happen.
Okay, so just encourage those businesses to contact you directly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Something for you to think about.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the annex for the Mason Urban might be attempted to be leased as retail.
Hmm.
It's not very well set up for that right now because of the levels inside, the lack of windows and storefront, which means it would be an expensive proposition to try and do that. In addition to that, we have a lot of empty storefront space, retail space already. So putting that on the market would be more competition for them. So just some things to think about.
Yeah, no, those are all good points. I think that the types of people that have shown any interest are more of like large scale showroom hybrid things.
Yeah, that would work.
Which would be great. It's a very large space. It's very nice, but I agree, the layout is a little funky for retail, but we're trying to figure it out.
We're being asked again, what are the dates of the open house? And I'll put it on here. Did we say the 9th?
The 9th from 4 to 6 p.m.
And Anna, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. Sarah, thanks so much for the reintroduction. I just want to let people know that you've been wonderful for the museum when we've reached out directly to you. I was one of the people that thought we couldn't reach out to Prosper, but Sarah kind of set me straight on that and has been really helpful for the museum. So I can attest to that. I think the things I wanted to mention were, could we consider opening the RFI, RFP up to, more than retail. I just know there are a good amount of, cultural orgs that would make good use of that space, even if it is, temporarily until retail comes to fruition, or, even if it's decided that it's better to not compete with the struggling retail already.
Yeah.
So
Anybody can apply. It's not just
okay, great. And then the other question I had was about Block 33. The museum would love to be kept in the loop on that as well. I know you reached out to us about kind of the fencing, but if there are any other updates, we'd love to know, because we're considering, adjacent properties, and so would like to just know kind of, what's going on there. So
okay, yeah, for sure.
all right, thanks so much, y'all. Oh, and I have a very random question that y'all can tell me to just, not ask it now, or we can just set it aside. And that is, as properties do come up for sale, at one point in time, our neighborhood had said we will accept a certain threshold for services orgs, and we appreciate the work that services are doing, and none of us feel negatively towards them, but a neighborhood can only have so much before there's a tipping point. And I just wonder if we're planning to put into, kind of action or conversations with city, county, state, that our neighborhood has done the most it can do, and future sales should not be considered for services.
Yay.
We need land use code if that, to do that.
Is Prosper even able to put that in an RFI, that would be a exclusion?
Oh, you mean for properties that we own?
Yes.
I mean, I'll write that down. There are things I'm not gonna say right now, but yes.
Great.
Just know that I'm on the same side.
Yes, great, thank you. Okay, and we have to move on. Because we have a guest speaker on our agenda, so I'd like, right?
Yes, Jamie.
Yeah, so I'd like to invite Jamie.
All right, does anyone mind if I join you at the table?
Please join us.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hi. I'd first like to clarify, because on your agenda, my name is listed as Jamie Duhamel. That was my, no, it's not your fault. I changed my name about 2 years ago. I have been known as Jamie Duhamel for a long time. Duhamel is now my middle name. My name is Jamie Evenstar. So it's nice to meet you all. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and just kind of give you a little bit about my background and some of my priorities. And I'm hoping, I know our agenda is running long, but I'm hoping there's a little bit of time to hear from you more directly. If it isn't clear, I am running for Portland City Council in District 4, which obviously includes Old Town. And I'm learning a lot, and I would love to know from all of you before I leave today, kind of how you would like to see Old Town talked about in these kind of very public forums that I'm gonna be in over the next few months. How would you like to be positioned in those conversations? Because I know there's a lot of ways in which people think about and conceive of Old Town that I don't think is accurate or fair. And I would like to help change that narrative if possible. So to start my background, I am a mother of 5 children. I am a renter in downtown Portland. I rent call it a shabby chic old home at the south end of the PSU campus, and we love it. I'm also a car-free transit rider. I have been for 9 years. So me and my family, all of our children, we take the bus and the MAX every single day. It's definitely a lifestyle choice. And I've also been a public servant working for the city of Portland for almost a decade. The things I've done at the city of Portland, I've really had the kind of honor and privilege of leading very special and very hard projects over the years. I wrote all the tenant protections that are currently on the books in Portland that keep renters in their homes. I developed the Rose Lane project, which gets buses out of traffic. I developed the anti-displacement framework Building Belonging for the Bureau of Transportation, which informs project managers and planners how to build in neighborhoods while minimizing their impacts on things like gentrification that can destabilize people. I also led their only gun violence response program, which was fascinating and was an opportunity for us to kind of build creative infrastructure and placemaking opportunities so that we were activating spaces to either kind of divert and or minimize opportunities for community violence, which activation I think is a topic you all are very aware of. I was then invited to join the charter transition team. And so for 2 years, I helped implement our new form of government after the voters approved charter reform. So what I hope this demonstrates to all of you is I feel like I have the skills and the relationships needed to do really hard things. And I would really love to start delivering for District 4 the way I've been delivering for the city for the last decade. Part of what I've been doing since announcing my run for office is spending a fair amount of time in Old Town. I'm really grateful to folks like Lori and Ryan who've taken some time to talk to me, really help me better understand the dynamics that are playing out here on the ground. I think we can all agree that Old Town is a very special and challenging project. And I'm really starting to develop a passion for what's happening here. And hopefully we'll learn more from you about some ideas about what we should be focusing on and how we can move this neighborhood forward. I do have 3 priorities I'd love to share with you. I'm happy to stop and answer questions first if that's okay, or I can just keep going. I want to talk too much.
Good priorities.
Okay, great. Well, my top 3 priorities are, they may be controversial, just warning you. They are informed on my kind of areas of expertise, my experience at the city, and also what I've been learning from community. Some of them are better developed than others, so hoping you can help me with some of the ways in which I need to nuance them. But my first priority is housing and housing stability. That is where my area of expertise lies. If you think about housing and homelessness on a continuum, with stable housing being on one end and stable permanent housing being on the other, and the entry into homelessness and into shelter and into transitional housing being somewhere in the middle, I believe really strongly that the city of Portland's primary responsibilities live in those bookends. It is our primary job to keep people in stable homes and get them back into stable homes as soon as possible when they've been destabilized. And that means we need to be focusing on creating and providing housing and creating and providing stability opportunities so they don't enter into housing into begin with. And what has happened over the years, I think, as you have all seen, is that the city of Portland has gotten into the business of shelter provision and shelter services and have spent hundreds of millions of dollars, getting into the sheltering, and often at very cross purposes with the county. The county is the health authority for the state and the city, and it is their primary role to provide homelessness and health services, mental health treatment, addiction services. And the city of Portland is in the mix. We're in the muddle. And I believe that's what's happening because of that is really more chaos than solutions. We are not seeing a lot of resolution to the homelessness crisis that we're seeing in our streets. Because we are not focusing our efforts on getting people into housing, which is really the only solution to homelessness, is getting people back with a roof over their head. But also because we don't have a unified theory of change and a coordination about how we move people through that system and into homelessness. There's a number of reasons why that's happened over the years. Just suffice to say that I believe that we should be diverting our efforts and refocusing our efforts on stabilizing people in their homes and getting people back into homes as soon as possible. I am putting together what I'm currently calling a Portland Homes Plan, which is a kind of package of policy pillars, if you will, that I feel will help the city of Portland focus on those efforts. And that's really around the kind of development of housing, the uplifting us, moving us towards, mixed income, limited profit style models of housing, and a number of tenant protections that will stabilize tenants over a longer term than they currently have. My second priority is an area where I still need a lot of kind of nuance and understanding, but I believe strongly that we need to be focusing on economic development. Our affordability crisis is really at the root of everything we're experiencing in the city. And for me, what I'm learning in communities, that really looks a lot like creative upzoning and community, incentivizing the decreasing of vacancies through creative reuse of spaces. I think these are topics and conversations you're probably having every time you get together and every day. How do we, creative reuse the empty storefronts that we see through, pop-ups, artist spaces, small businesses, resources that people need. I think there are a number of ideas out there, and I'd love to hear more what your position is. I've also, I really understand the power of kind of activating spaces and think that downtown in particular is, we're living in a post-COVID world. And I don't know how realistic it is to think of downtown as a place where office workers will come 9 to 5 and activate our streets. So what does that mean? It means that downtown, maybe we need to start reimagining it as an actual neighborhood where people are living here and, they are engaging with the community the way they would in any other neighborhood in the city. And also as a potential destination, an entertainment district, if you will. We have a lot of opportunity to create kind of destination anchors. I've heard a number of really creative ideas that could really bring an economic draw to the city, including things like activating our riverfront, better connecting the riverfront to the rest of the city. It's really hard to get there, and when you get there, there's not a lot to do. So a lot of ways in which we can really be focusing on getting foot traffic on the streets on a daily basis, which I think, as we all know, will help mitigate and minimize some of the challenges that we're seeing. And then the third priority would be effective governance, which is a little wonky, but having helped implement the new form of government, I really understand the consequences of best intentions going awry because we don't actually have the systems built to follow through on them and make them effective. I think good governance means that we are strategic and we are coordinated, that we're applying outcomes to the work that we're doing, and we are providing resources and follow through on those things. Old Town experiences this probably the most, right? You have a lot of services cited here without a lot of kind of like support and follow through to make sure that that there aren't negative consequences to those services happening to you on the ground. I think a really good example, I was listening to these new patrol projects, the neighborhood policing that's happening. I see everyone's really excited about that. I totally get it. I was just at the Joinery yesterday hearing all about kind of like that hotspot, which I just heard about. And I would say a good governance model, an effective governance model would attach some outcomes to that particular project, right? What is the purpose of having the neighborhood policing on the ground? Is it just to decrease the visible signs of, bad behavior happening in front of you? Or is it to help minimize or eliminate those behaviors because people are getting access to the resources that they need, right? Because if we don't have good strategic objectives and outcomes applied to projects like that, what happens when those officers get reassigned somewhere else? Does it just come back? Mm-hmm. How does the precinct know that their limited resources are going to, good, are being, are effective, are helpful, so that they don't divert them somewhere else when the budget gets short? I would also say that a good governance model not only would attach outcomes to those projects, but would attach coordination. I think neighborhood policing is a really important part of the spectrum of public safety. And how wonderful would it be if, in addition to those 2 patrol officers that are walking those beats, they're doing that in coordination with community outreach workers from the county who are providing resources and services to folks as they're engaging with them. How cool would it be if we had Portland Street Response mental health experts who are also walking that beat with them and providing kind of mental health, access and resources at the same time? How cool would it be if we're coordinating with hygiene services and making sure that we are kind of picking up the trash and the things that are happening on the ground at the same time? So that's what I mean by an effective governance model. It really requires clear delineation of jurisdictional roles and then kind of working together in coordination to solve a problem from beginning to end. And that is the long and short of it. And I see we have I'm sorry to take up so much time.
No, you're fine. What I'm gonna do, we're at time for this section of the meeting, so my recommendation is that we end the general meeting, but maybe take a 10-minute break and we can ask questions during the break, but that gives people an opportunity to leave, but it also gives you an opportunity to connect with folks in between. So if everybody's okay with that, I'm gonna end the general meeting now. We're gonna move to the board meeting, but please stay for the next 10 minutes if you wanna ask questions of Jamie, thank you for being here.
Yeah. Hey, I'll say before I run out of time, I know there's questions, but I am, my launch party is here in Old Town at Cafe United on July 16th. If you're interested, I have cards. I'm happy to leave them behind or leave my website and give you more information about who I am and encourage you to sign up to attend the party. Cafe United is a great space, as I'm sure you know. Very excited about it.
Great, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
What are you doing for a living now?
Running for office. Yeah.
Were you Candace Avalos?
Chief of staff.
Chief of staff, okay.
That's right.
And do you feel like you're aligned philosophically with what she's done in council so far?
I would say, we share a lot of similar progressive values. I would say we don't necessarily share all the kind of like governance styles and goals. So there's a number of reasons why I no longer work in her office, but theoretically, we are aligned on a lot of progressive values.
Did you quit or were you fired?
I would say it was a mutual separation between the 2 of us.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Sorry. Do you think that the county is an effective model of governance? You mentioned that the county being a partnership.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your understanding or your perspective on the relationship with the county.
Yeah.
And their interaction with the local population.
Yeah. I would say that it's hard to tell if they're an effective governance because we cannot hold them accountable because we are so in the mix. Everybody comes to yell at the city. Nobody goes to yell at the county. And when the city is also in the business of providing sheltering services, the city of Portland and the counselors are the people who are getting held accountable for the things that are going with it. What I am suggesting is that if we separate from that and we force the county to really uphold its authority and its, jurisdictional authority and its responsibilities, we can then point the finger in the right direction and force accountability and force better governance if it's not effective. Right now, we can't do that at all because we have completely different theories of change of like how to solve the problem, what the end goals are, and we're never getting there because we're doing this and spending lots of money doing that. If we separate it from that, we can exclusively focus on what the county needs to do and how they need to do it better.
Yeah, I guess from a business perspective, if I ran my business like the county ran theirs with their complete lack of auditing, their lack of controls, I'd be in jail. Two, it's concerning to ever hear that we want to allow them more freedom because when local people who are engaged try to reach out to them, try to communicate with them, it's gridball. So that's where I think the city has gotten intermixed with a lot of issues that are directly impacting people who are paying taxes. And I understand your perspective that technically that is separate, but when we have only one person or one segment who will listen to us scream, we will go to them repeatedly because the other people are busy blowing through money.
But I would ask, I guess, how effective has that been? Because if there's a concept that we are in any way in charge of county or holding them accountable, that's wrong. The city of Portland has very little I mean, when I hear you say give them freedom, they have all the freedom they need, right? They're an independent jurisdiction, they're an elected body. They need to be held accountable by the people, just like the city council does. City council has no authority over them. And so all you're seeing in the back rooms, and I've been in those spaces, is just a lot of bickering, a lot of personality infighting, and not a lot of resolution. So we are in this hamster wheel because we have not separated and allowed, you know, the jurisdiction that is the primary authority to deliver these services to fail and to be held accountable for that failure.
But they did fail. They failed from the pandemic on. And we've suffered the result of their failures. We had unwalkable sidewalks. And the county failed. And the city had to move in order to be able to save the few businesses that were able to survive.
I'm glad you brought this up because I think there's a distinction between sheltering services and livability stuff, like right-of-way livability services, which I do think is the purview of the city of Portland. We own that right-of-way, right? And it is our job to make sure that right-of-way is accessible, is clean, is livable for everybody, whether you're houseless or housed. And so I actually, this is again, one of my controversial takes, if I was to propose that we divert our resources and our efforts away from sheltering services, we'd have a lot of resources and time and availability to concentrate on things like PMO, to concentrate on the environmental space. I mean, I think it would be amazing if we had people on the ground everywhere across the city, but especially more here, especially more downtown, that were on a regular basis providing hygiene opportunities, that were cleaning up the streets or cleaning up
We paid
litter.
for that already.
But
We paid for downtown clean and safe to do those things because government has failed.
Right, it's a very limited scope and you're chipping in for it. And what I'm saying is that the city of Portland actually has the resources to amplify that type of work. You know, under very specific, I think, regulations, we could talk about what that looks like to provide hygiene, but we need bathrooms, we need laundry opportunities, we need showering opportunities, we need trash pickup, we need that everywhere. And I think that a lot of the compassion fatigue that we are all, myself included, experiencing around homelessness is less about people being homeless. It's less about, you know, encountering homeless people and more about the kind of sights and sounds and smells that we experience when we're just walking down the street, trying to get to our bus stop, trying to get our kids to school. And so I think there's a nuanced distinction there around who I think the responsibility is. But I overheard a bunch of you talking when I was sitting back there about how great it looks downtown or in Old Town a little bit better, right? Like how much cleaner it is, how much nicer it is to walk down the sidewalks.
3 times on the 5 o'clock walk here.
In some areas, but not everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But that, to me, that just kind of like validates this theory, which is we have a larger number of homeless than we have in the past, than we had this time last year, right? A larger number of people who are homeless.
I don't believe that from my observation on the street.
Right, because what your observation is right now is that things are cleaner, they smell better, they're more walkable, and that's what I'm saying. If we concentrated our efforts on that and allowed the authority, the, you know, primary authority to take care of homeless services, we are doing our job to make sure that your day-to-day experience.
I would say the
is better,
objective
your
data
business
that you're using is incorrect.
Okay.
And then I have another question in regards to charter. Was it the intent of the Charter Commission to not have a tie-breaking vote in a 6-6 deadlock?
Yeah, I think one of the misunderstandings, first of all, an even split on a council is actually a very common thing, and.
So was
in
there,
those affairs.
was
It wasn't.
deadlock the intention?
Deadlock wasn't the intention, but not giving the mayor the vote was intentional. Or
That isn't how
a
I,
veto. What's that?
that wasn't how I read it, but okay.
Yeah. Well, so by their approach was, or their, I wasn't on the commission, but what I understand from why they did that is because they really created this form of government so that the council was equal to the mayor. So right now, and we're not living up to that, I gotta be honest, the council does not understand its full power and role right now. There's a lot of cultural work that needs to happen, a lot of systems work that needs to happen. But the mayor and the council are supposed to be on equal footing. And that means that the mayor is not supposed to have any kind of form of additional power over the council in order to direct what they're doing. The mayor has a ton of power in its ability to implement the will of council and operate an 8,000, staff member organization. And giving them the additional veto vote gives the mayor too much power and doesn't give council the right authority.
How is that a veto?
So I'm sorry, I've got to jump in because we've got to get back on the agenda because we're at time for the board meeting. So I know that there were other people that have questions. Anna, I see your hand up. I'm wondering if you want to put it in the chat. Jamie's gonna leave her card here.
People are asking.
I'll just reach out to her, but in future circumstances, it might be nice to leave room for other people to ask questions. I know that other folks had them, so just in the future, if it can be less of a debate between two people and more of a forum, but I will reach out to her directly.
Thank you. July 16th at Cafe United.
What time?
6 p.m. Right. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a great board meeting.
I think we should get you back to answer more questions.
Love that.
Yeah.
Cards on the table. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Anna, your point's well taken. I think the question is whether or not we set a standard for how much time.
Yeah, no, and Elizabeth, I know, don't worry about it. I know I've been in I don't know who was talking with her. I've been that person that's had all those questions before. So don't worry about it. It's just in the future, if, I try to always just look and see if other people have their hands raised when I'm asking a series of questions. But it's no big deal. And I can just ask her that way. I just think for going forward, when we have these situations, to make sure everyone gets a chance to ask questions.
Well, I think that at a minimum, we need to give candidates 15 minutes, if not 20, because, between them talking and asking questions, we don't have enough time.
It'll last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, truly, it's no big deal, at all. It's just me being point for future, nothing beyond that.
Well, and are we gonna have time for committee reports, or
We're going to move them into the board meeting.
We're moving them into the board meeting, okay.
Yeah, so we've got some catch up to do, so I'm going to call the board meeting to order. And we'll start off with committee updates. So
do we report the board meeting? I'm new to all this recording, so we're just carrying on.
Yeah, the safety and livability, Tim.
Do we have any updates, Lori, for safety and livability? Lance is been out of town, so we had our first meeting to develop some goals and plans and had plans, but last meeting, Lance and I were out of town, and this meeting, when is our next planned get together, Lori?
I'll have to look at my calendar.
We'll put that out.
Yeah, we will put it out, and I think we'll be utilizing the safety and livability committee meeting to work through some of the questions that we want to ask at the summit.
Land use transportation, Ryan.
Yeah, we had a packed agenda. Many of the things have been talked about already with TriMet. Also the Bain and Old Town, Mason Urban buildings. Some of the new news is Ankeny Dock seems to have some progress. We have a marine engineer that's going to be inspecting it tomorrow to look to see whether the pilings need to be rebuilt or they can be used for future activation. The city also held the first of the waterfront reimagination meetings yesterday. It is unfortunate there is no one representing Old Town, Saturday Market, JAMO, or the Steelbridge State Park on that design committee. But I think we're gonna try to make some efforts on that. The Lou came up in conversations, but sounds like Anne and others are making progress. It'd be good to know when and where that is.
I think that's a question we need to continue to ask in the problem solvers calls.
Great.
There wasn't, from my recollection of the meeting, there was just talk that there is a plan, but not details.
It would be great to hear what that plan is.
Yeah, agreed.
And then also there's just word that West Burnside, so there's a positive and a negative, but this is just popping up in the last 2 days, is that West Burnside is planned to be repaid, which is a great thing. The problem is it's planned to be repaid in its current configuration, whereas there's a longer term vision that Nicole and others have worked on for the Bridges to Better Burnside project to make it a more foot traffic and a safer corridor that could embrace tourism. So that's going to be on the agenda coming up. about maybe looking at lane reconfiguration versus locking in the current design, which has seen 1,200 accidents in the last 10 years and two pedestrian fatalities. And
So are they still talking about the couplet or when?
No, they're talking about keeping the existing lane configurations,
Okay.
which is a fatal design. And then the last thing is just that land use and prosper conversations around Mason Old Town and Mason Ermine. If there's any way to have that kind of communication with the executive committee and land use so we can help discuss and inform these conversations.
When's our next Prosper check-in?
Monday.
It's next week, yeah.
Monday at 9.
I believe, Ryan, we invited you to that? You're welcome.
No, I would love to join. What time is that?
9.
9 a.m.
Great. If you share the invite, I'll put it on my calendar.
Invite to Ryan. One of the questions that we've asked Sarah to explore when we met last time was what implications for the TIF Mason Ermine has. Like if they're getting lease money, is that because they spent $7 million essentially to acquire this Mason Ermine building, for lack of a better way of describing it. And now they've reclaimed possession of it.
Yeah.
So is that a TIF asset that the OTCA TIF district continues to benefit from? Or does the lease money and potential sale of the building just go into general Prosper?
That's a great item for the agenda on the Monday meeting.
Exactly.
It sounds, I have heard some word that they were going to put the 7 million back into the Old Town TIF.
Okay.
But I have not seen that in writing. I've just heard that verbally from a different staff.
Yeah. So it would be helpful. We've asked Sarah that question and she said she didn't know and was going to explore it. That would be on. Hopefully we'll have more clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look forward to learning more.
Mm-hmm. Right. Arts, history and culture.
Oh, great.
Neil and Chris.
Hi. Yeah, so first I want to apologize for not being more prepared than I am. I really do need to put more energy into organizing the committee and having a real agenda and speaking. We did have a committee meeting yesterday and the entire of that committee meeting was due to a development of the across the street lantern project. Construction had started at the CCBA building and then it was abruptly halted. Tom had called me and said that it was halted due to some issues. And you know, I'd like to have Tom maybe talk a little bit about that and then maybe Lori can help me and go from there.
It's now the best time.
Yeah, is now the best time, I guess. Maybe other than that, you know, there are some other issues that I'd like to talk about with Arts and Culture Committee, and that is the Chinatown Gate, which is still being worked on. Right now, we've been halted because of the paint issue there. I understand that Nick and Alex are talking to not Prosper, but RAC about having them do that work as well.
Alex Chu and Nick.
Yes, Nick Lee are the two artists. Right.
What is the issue? Is it payment?
No, it's they found asbestos in the paint. So, oh jeez.
That was like.
That's a long time,
It's
yeah.
like over a year ago.
That was over a year ago.
Can't they re-code it?
And since Jonathan was great because he was leading the project as the project manager, construction project manager. But since his leaving, the project has languished a little bit because really there's no project manager to actually lead the project. So it's been RAC and RAC and Peabody trying to run the show. And
I might be able to step in.
yeah, because we need some leadership to try to push it forward. And there's some, there's also the thing about the payments and stuff, who's running that piece too, where's the money? I know most of the money or practically all the money is over there at Peabody, but I know RAC has restrictions on their monies for the art process.
Peabody didn't suffer any loss of funding in this last budget, so.
Well, we better push them, huh? Maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Offline. I
Volunteer.
really would like some help.
Are you in your building? I mean, how do I reach you?
Won't give them my business card.
neil@tdxoldtown.org.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a director,
Hello.
right?
I could do that. I have your phone number. There is that.
Okay.
I want to be respectful of Tom's time because I don't want to keep him here for a board meeting he doesn't need to be here for. So let's delve into this issue that was raised.
Fair enough.
I will put up on the screen information about the lantern. Am I sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we all remember, we've got more here than we need. This project started out a long time ago. We did phase one, now we're into phase two. So Prosper funded, sorry, scroll here. Prosper funded 3 blocks of additional lanterns. The purple bars there indicate the ones that are already in place on Third Avenue.
Yeah.
The red bars indicate where we landed with what we could afford and which property owners allowed us to touch the building to attach the strings of lanterns. So what we learned this week was that the Chinatown Museum has opted out on their 2 strings, which at the top of the screen, you see the 3 bars there, 3 red bars. That would be the 2 on the right. So leaving us with one string in the center of the block. And so Lori raised the question with me. She said, does it make sense to continue to have the one there, given the fact that the festival blocks are looking for a new solution? And there have been things to discuss that would be overhead things, and so it's really unclear right now, but perhaps putting the one string up is a disadvantage to the freedom of designing a new solution for that. Which would leave us with 2 new blocks of lanterns instead of 3. Prosper gave us the money for 3. I'm kind of glad that Sarah left because she would be disappointed to hear that we're not fulfilling our commitment
yet.
But the fact that we're gonna redo the existing lanterns on Third, which means new lighting and new lanterns. Means that we'll still have 3 blocks, so I guess we're okay with fulfilling the commitment. So anyway, that's the deal. I think if we decide not to do the one string in the mid block of Davis, then we'll have some money left over, which would be good for long-term maintenance. It will also mean that we'll then have a full set of replacement lanterns because originally I ordered 140 of each lantern because we thought we were doing even more than this. As we got down to the costs and the restrictions on other things and the engineering costs, we realized this was all we could afford. But we do have enough. We almost had enough lanterns for full replacement. Without those 3, we'll definitely have enough to store for full replacement. So a little bit of an advantage, silver lining there, I guess.
Okay, so there are some questions online. And I'm gonna start with you because I think your hand was up first.
Thank you. And I want to reiterate what I said in the meeting yesterday, which is, I don't know why it keeps getting said that Portland Chinatown Museum and sometimes me, Anna Truxas, are saying no to this. I'm just going to put the same statement that I put in the committee meeting yesterday. We are not saying no to it. We have asked repeatedly for a community conversation about it. So, and that y'all can decide to do what you want to do. I think if you want to hold off for Festival Street stuff, that's fine with me. But I want the record to show that we did not say no to this. We said we wanted a community conversation before we proceeded because we had an issue with the lanterns being changed at the last minute to all red that jeopardized our relationships with our community partners, and we didn't want to do that again. So I'm just going to put my quick comment in the chat because I know we don't have a ton of time. And Tom, I want you to know I so appreciate, what you did with this. And Neil, I do think you're trying to wrangle a lot of different kind of folks together. So I don't take it personally, but the record has to be set straight.
Fair.
Tommy?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I just want this to put out here. It seems like the reason why this lantern, or many people are opposed to this, is because a lot of the design was unilaterally changes without community feedback, and a whole demographic was essentially excluded from the lantern design. Because some people apparently doesn't like Japanese on the lantern, or they don't want a white color lantern. Why are the Japanese side expect to compromise? Yeah, that's just my thing. It's like, let's just be transparent about this whole thing.
Chris?
Hello.
Yep, Chris.
Sorry, I think, am I active now? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. If depending on what happens with the remaining budget, and if the folks decide not to put the lanterns up, is there a possibility of bringing those across to the Third and Burnside area that we already have approved and lost funding for?
Possibly, possibly. I'd have to go back and look at the costs and I haven't. And we'd have to.
You'd be going through more permitting.
We'd have to, well, and I've got all the costs, I can figure that out, because our contractors' costs are by building, so. It's all in pieces, so I can figure out what to subtract, and we've got the costs on doing the pink light district lights. I could sort that out and find out. I don't have that.
Am I correct? We already have all the permits pulled and we already have all the infrastructure designed and ready to rock and roll. It's just a money thing at this point. Yeah.
No, we did not pull a permit for those because permits cost money and we didn't want to permit anything that wasn't going forward.
Understood.
Now, it can be reactivated because the plans review has already been done. We just chose not to pay for the permit, so it could still be done. But my issue with this personally is this has been on the table for a long time with the Davis Street lanterns. And there's been a long time to have this discussion, 2 years in fact, about the white lantern issue. To ask us to pause now, there's no time left. We're proceeding with construction. And we can't come back and add something back in at this point once we make a decision, because everything's gonna get more expensive to bring the contractor back out of schedule. And so at this stage, we really need a decision. Are we doing Davis Street or not? And we need it now.
Correct me.
Where did the decisions?
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. The Davis Street, what you're asking is the one lane.
Well, I'm also responding to Anna, who said she hasn't made her decision yet. She's not out of it altogether or something. So I'm just saying, we can't delay that decision any longer because of the practicality of getting this job done.
Just to clarify, I did not say I was undecided. I said I explicitly asked for a community engagement from the project managers on this, and it didn't happen. And now I'm being blamed for it when what happened was we as an arts and culture committee said we should have a community discussion. It's been requested multiple times. You can look to the notes if we have them. But I also have people who were there that heard it. It's not I'm not sure. It's a I don't like that I'm getting surprised by unilateral decisions yet again when no community conversation has happened. And it does put the museum at risk in multiple ways. Like it has already done some serious damage to the museum.
So a community conversation would be great, would have been great. And I knew that there was an attempt to do that, but I'm not going to do it. I just was expecting those who wanted it would do it. So I'm just saying now the time's gonna run out, so.
I feel like the last board conversation and last Old Town general conversation we had was on an agreement that there would be red and white lights to represent multiple cultures.
I need to jump in to say that that's not my recollection.
Oh.
Okay, we had a conversation about red and white lanterns at the very beginning. And when the lanterns were being put up, there was community outcry from a certain segment of the community that said they didn't want white lanterns, and at the last minute they were taken down and red ones were put up. Fine, that happened, right? We all agreed. The second part of this conversation had to do with whether or not the tong at the entrance of or Old Town at 4th and Burnside would allow Japanese lanterns on the lights at all. That was the second part of the conversation.
You're correct. You are correct.
And it was at that point, they were indicating through people that they were not in favor of that. And at that point, we had a conversation about having a community conversation. And Neil offered to try to establish that, if I'm correct.
Right.
And that was a year ago, right? Because it was during vacation times or there was something, I don't know if it was a year ago, but
They basically didn't want to have the meeting.
they didn't want to have the meeting, right? So, and that issue was not white lanterns at that point.
The sign.
It was just the very presence of Japanese lanterns.
Correct.
And the Arts and Culture Committee voted, for whatever that is worth, to say that we would not allow strings that weren't mixed. Right? And we stood by that decision. This issue of the white lanterns now is a new issue that I'm being made aware of.
So I'm sorry, I just want to jump in. So to Clark's point, are you saying that unless we compromise and accept the lantern as is, excluding an old demographic, no lantern will come up? Is that what I'm
No, Tommy, it's not what I'm saying, and frankly.
No, not you, Elizabeth. That's what I'm hearing from Clark.
Tom Clark.
The issue is that what is being presented now is the issue of white lanterns. When this
They're moving the goalposts.
Yes.
Essentially.
May I interject here just because I want to correct a few things. A year ago when we asked for a community conversation, that was not what was attempted, because you can look to the minutes. I had to correct Tom a year ago and say, because Tom said we went to Gal Oakton and said Anna won't do it unless you do Japanese lanterns, and they said they wouldn't do it. That's on the record. So there was no attempt at a community conversation. There was just misinformation about my stance on it. And this again is bad for the museum. So that's why I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be a troublemaker, but I can't be like, yeah, I can't give my stamp of approval on that version of it. That is not what happened. I explicitly experienced something different. And I was under the impression we were going back to the white lanterns because that is what makes them Japanese.
So we're pandering to a very, very racist demographic. I'm just putting this out there.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm sorry, but you're only invited to speak because this is the board meeting. I'm sorry, it's one of the rules. So when I call on you, you can speak. I think at this point, I need a recommendation from the Arts and Culture co-chairs about how you'd like to move forward.
Well, since there's two things from that meeting. We discussed about having a community meeting to talk about it. And as we talked about it, we said, I wanted it sooner than later. Hanako does not have time to do that until September.
I said in August or September.
Okay, August.
But because first we need to find time to schedule. So if we scheduled within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's not enough time to get people's calendars cleared. So that's why I was recommending August or September. But I'm gonna just say this, that it's something that this should have happened a long time ago with the request that was made. So
We hear you. And we're trying to move forward. If we do this community meeting in August, that's gonna impact the schedule that you have, right, Tom?
I guess, I mean, I think, what we could do is, so all the work being done now is inside the buildings to prepare for the, support of the strings, of the cables. That work will be done near the end of August, and no lanterns will be strung up before that. It's like the last week of August, something like that, or the first week of September, when we're planning on stringing up the lanterns. I don't think there's a big problem to delay that part of the project. I could check with the contractor, but I think they'd be willing to say, look, let's take a break. We've got a question. That doesn't apply to, at that stage, to adding the Davis Street back in or not, but it's for the question of, do we put up the red Japanese lanterns, that we can delay. And if we can't put them up, if there's a decision and the community decides white lanterns are okay again, then we would have to go out and buy the white lanterns, and before we put them all up.
Right, but if we have this community meeting, that decision won't be made until August or September. And then, from what I heard, there's a timeline, you have to keep moving, is that right?
Well, like I say, I think we could carve out stringing up the lanterns. All the work inside the buildings, there's a sequence of things where they have to order steel fabrications and lumber and different things, and then schedule the guys doing the sheetrock repair, et cetera, and painting. So that, we don't want to interrupt that flow because that costs more. And so that part of it is kind of on a schedule that we can't stop, but otherwise we won't be able to afford it. So but the schedule for actually stringing up the cables outside the buildings and hanging the lanterns and lights, that I think we could ask them to just postpone that and take a break. So if the community decided that, geez, it's okay to have white Japanese lanterns, we all support it, then we'd be out some money. We'd have to go buy new lanterns for those. We'd have to see how the money holds out. We have some contingency funds.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think as far as the red versus white Japanese lanterns issue, I think we could accommodate the August meeting and discussion about that before we put things up. The question of, are we doing Davis Street or not? Then that's we need that decision now.
Kind of what go ahead,
Chris.
Please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to interject. Is there a world in which everybody can agree to just install the lights separate from the lanterns that go on them to have the project move forward, and then determine what the actual lantern element will be at a later date, so everything can move forward? The budget doesn't get blown out of the water, and everything can continue. And then, yeah.
Appreciate the idea, Chris, but no. The reason I say no is the way that the contractor has configured his sequence is they string up the cables, and then at the same time, the people that install the lights follow right along while the lift is in the same spot, and they put the lights in. Right after that, they hang the lanterns and twist the wire and put the lanterns on. if you interrupt that sequence, it costs more because of bringing the labor back and renting the lifts. The lifts are incredibly expensive. The whole process is expensive. I learned because they have to post two people on the street on either side of where the stringing up is happening to prevent people underneath from walking under it. And so you have two people on the lift, two people on the street. You have the rental for the lift. So I've learned all this recently myself. So it's got to happen in a certain way to keep the price we have.
Follow-up question.
Understood.
If the lanterns if lanterns are replaced by wall lanterns, what's the cost implication of that? And does it rule out doing Davis Street? Like, I'm just trying to understand how much money do we have?
Well, if we're not doing the two strings between the museum and Society Hotel, that's going to give us a windfall right there. So yes, we could afford it.
We could afford white lanterns on the other
We
streets.
can afford buying new lanterns, yeah.
Okay, but if we don't do that, then we don't have money to buy new lanterns, regardless of what the community conversation is.
We have at the moment about $15,000 in contingency funds. We're hoping to use that to change the existing lanterns, which is currently not in the budget. It's in the contingency.
Yeah.
See, that has to be done.
Yeah.
That it's non-negotiable.
I believe the same thing.
Yeah.
They
So right.
look terrible. We
Yeah.
really need to get.
So what I'm hearing is that to give us the option of having white lanterns for any of this, we have to forsake Davis Street.
You mean the one string?
All of it.
Oh,
All of it,
well,
all of Davis
It
Street.
doesn't make sense to have one string.
okay, yeah, given that, then you're right, yes.
Okay.
I understand.
Anna?
Thank you. And sorry, I broke rules. I forgot that we're in the board portion. The other thing to think about is that the museum will feel the same way about like lanterns going on the other direction that were unilaterally changed to all red, right? So
I'm sorry, but correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, pending a community conversation. Like if the
yeah.
community-
As long as there's a community conversation, like whatever the community decides, I would support. It's just I don't want to be surprised by, newly hung red lanterns, and then again we're kind of, anyway.
This is pending community conversation.
Yeah. But I'm saying on the front, on the replacement lanterns, if that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Hanukkah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of reiterate what I was saying yesterday. It's like, honestly, the color doesn't really matter, but we just never had the conversation to talk to the other side of folks who's having this, the complaint where if we could have this community conversation, that'd be great. So then we could identify, figure things out, and then move forward and actually have a decision that's made like together. Because I feel like sometimes in the arts and culture meeting, like we made a decision, but things get changed later, right? And it's like, let's just through this documentation aspect of like having the conversation, because it's like, yeah, whatever. Like what I said is like, we just need to have the people at the table to have these conversations to make a decision.
All right, so we should go.
Sure.
So, are we being naive to think that one community conversation in August can solve this? I'm just asking because I think it seems to me like we're looking at much more than a 1 month delay here to get a decision so that we can proceed with hanging the lanterns. Is that true? Is there a plan to have this community conversation in such a way that all the right stakeholders can be there and that you can get a decision in one meeting or 1 month even?
Hanukkah.
Yeah, I think that it can happen. And I think with the support from the co-chairs of the Arts and Culture Committee to kind of convene a meeting, I think that the conversation could be had and we could finally like have the process done. Because to me, I feel like it's more of a procedural issue that has occurred. And that's why I'm a little bit stuck on it. And then after it's resolved, then I could see that it could get resolved within that time frame.
Fabulous.
Tommy?
Well, it's the fact that these community conversations never happened in the first place. It's not naive to think that. It's just that's not rude to point that out, to be honest. It's it like that. The conversation was never had, feedback was never given, and stuff was just unilaterally changed, excluding a bunch of people.
Chris?
Who are the stakeholders that are that need to be part of the conversation? And can we just schedule a meeting that is this is the final decision meeting? Everybody that wants to have input on this needs to be at this meeting, and then have a finite time and deadline and just get it done. I'm unsure as to who the stakeholders that are opposing this are, and if they are available to help make the final decision, and when they can make that, or how that can be facilitated.
There, I mean, from what I'm hearing from where I sit right now, it sounds like as co-chairs of the Arts and Culture Committee, you need to, it would be helpful to work with Anna and Hanako to flesh that out and what the plan is for this community conversation.
I agree.
Okay.
And also,
So,
oh, sorry.
sorry, Anna, do you have your hand raised? Yeah.
No, I
Anna.
didn't. And I did it again. I'm so sorry. I was breaking the rules. I don't need to say anything. Sorry.
Okay. So is it feasible to ask for you within the next 2 weeks to put a plan together, and that at the August meeting that we have a solid plan of it's scheduled, it's happening, etc. I still feel like we're at a point where we're probably forsaking Davis, but I'm hearing that we may not need to do that. We don't know yet.
Are you asking
So
I don't know what the cost implications are of this delay, and what the option A is everything's go ahead and we can do everything as planned and there are no cost implications to the delay, or community comes back and says white lanterns only, and what option does that leave us with the money that we have? And that needs to be part of this conversation.
So, are you saying that all three strings might be still in play on Davis or not? Is that not what you're saying?
I think that it's possible pending the outcome of the community conversation.
I see. Good.
And
that has a cost if we go back to keeping all those in. I don't know what it is. I can determine that.
Yeah, I think we need all three scenarios, right?
Okay.
And making it very clear here that yes, we're committing to a community conversation, and as a result, there may be consequences to that where we have fewer blocks of lanterns, which we will have to, I'm assuming at some point, communicate to Prosper Portland. Okay.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is if we decide in August that that we're gonna proceed and keep all of the lanterns in play on Davis. I can determine what is the cost penalty for that being a delayed part of the project.
Exactly.
An additional cost question is if it's decided we need to go to white Japanese lanterns.
Correct.
And so, yeah, I'll research those.
Thank you. Neil, is there anything else you want to, we've got to close this out?
Yeah, I will work offline with all the players here, including Tom and Hanako and Anna. And we'll put a plan together. I will work on that immediately after this meeting. I'll start calling people and start coordinating a meeting.
Okay.
And go from there.
Great.
Getting lots of thumbs up. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Good luck, buddy.
Okay, so I am going to move straight to treasurer's report.
Great, thank you. Okay, so
Centuries of time.
Thank you.
yes, I've got a couple of things to report on in this last segment. So I've asked in the fundraising component, I've asked Tom to give sort of the best practices on what we've been doing. to help meet with prospective prospects. We had a really good session yesterday with an architectural firm, but he's gonna talk about that in just a few minutes. Right now, the treasurer's report, you have
Has
in your
everybody,
packet.
has everybody seen it? It was in the board packet, but I
I've
printed
seen it,
some.
but I just want to point out, this meeting ends in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might want to expedite it first. I can give a high level report of what's going on. That's what I do. Okay, so in the treasury report dated June 26th, overall, we're good, not great. We have some work to do in the fundraising area, but I want to call out Lori for pulling this data together with all the various sources. Thank you, Lori, for your hard work. Total cash on hand, basically $204,074. You know, we're in good shape, but we have some work to do, especially in the fundraising and the grants area. Lots of detailed information here. I want to skip to the summary at the back. Second from the last page, I'm on the bottom, summary. As of June 25th, we have a total of 204,000, which is total cash across business checking and business money. We also have an estimated $41,021 in unrestricted cash on hand. We've done a much more deep dive into our accounts receivable. We had some the data in previous Intuit records we had from Aaron were a little bit off. We did a more detailed analysis. We currently have roughly $31,376 in the accounts receivable. Okay, if we get all that money, which is looking very positive, we should increase the projected unrestricted donations to about our position to about 72,398. Okay, we've had some recent donations of $2,500, which would further increase the projected position to 74,898. So my summary report here is we have some work to do this summer. Tom, as I mentioned, is doing an amazing job, sort of leading the way. You know, with our efforts we had with Matthew and Lori and myself at the initial sort of fundraising finance committee about 2 months ago, we put together this massive spreadsheet that you've all seen. We have developed targets for each of us on the board to, and we actually put together teams. We're not just throwing this out to you, each of you to do, you know, cold calls. Each of us in the fundraising team have actually, you know, put ourselves with you, you know, as a team, as a resource, as a team member to help you craft your message, and to help you, you know, develop an email message. If you want to help going out and actually meeting with potential prospects, we can do that with you as well. We set a goal roughly of 20,000 to raise some initial cash by the end of July. You know, we've raised roughly 2,500 in actual cash contributions.
What about in pledges?
We've done at least 5.
What's that?
Pledges.
Yeah.
Yes.
The invoices that have been sent out, we've done 5, a quarter of that so far.
Exactly, right. Anyways,
Okay,
so anyway, that's a quick overview of the treasurer's report.
okay.
We need to make a motion.
We do need to make a motion.
Yes, so you want to talk about the banking and
Yes, go ahead.
okay, so one of the things I've done during this period is to looking at the status of our bank right now. We're currently getting 1.1% in our money market account. I did an extensive report while in my role as the treasurer for JAMO as well, looking at how to raise our money market rates, and we've done a thorough investigation of basically 5 different banks in the region. And on point money market rate right now is 3.5% for nonprofits versus 1.1%. If we make the decision to shift our money from Trailhead to On Point, we can increase our annual interest basically to $5,700.17, right? If we do that over a year, if we stay with Trailhead, we'll be basically $1,796. So it's basically, you know, about almost $4,000 in increase in interest, right? So I'd like to make a motion that we make a shift to On Point as our new bank.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, discussion. Have we given Trailhead a chance to match it?
Yep.
I checked in with them, 1.1% is basically what they're offering, basically.
So we've given them the terms of an out of the neighborhood bank and they are not able to match it.
They can't, or it's the rate they're offering, of course.
Credit union.
Yeah.
Not a bank.
So, you know, we went through this thorough assessment with JAMO as well, and, you know, they, On Point has this amazing, nonprofit rate that they offer. I mean, even, you know, Beneficial was really, has recently joined, or as a member, I feel really bad that they could, match that rate as well, right? So with this, we're trying to look for ways to beef up our treasury and to add more resources to us at a time when we need to make some more money. This is a good chance for us to at least fairly easily put another $4,000 into our treasury.
Technically, On Point is a credit union as well.
Yeah.
And they are locally.
They're very close. They're over
downtown.
Yeah.
Nothing against On Point. I just, I know both Columbia Bank and Trailhead are actively engaged in the community association. And I
Yes.
think that
We
there's
checked
some,
with Columbia.
let me just finish what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
That just should be a factor in our consideration.
I know. I hear you. Columbia was at 2.76.
I do know from prior experience that On Point also has a grant program that we should be trying to take advantage of.
Yep.
Should we try to recruit them to be involved in the association's effort?
Totally.
Yeah.
I know On Point is actually committed to provide money for the JAMA has a gala event every year. They've actually given $1,000 for that as well. So
Let me go ahead and take a vote on that.
Is there any additional questions?
I would like to consider that we try to get their involvement prior to us. I mean, we have this leverage right now. If we're gonna be taking our accounts over there, should we try to get On Point involvement in the association prior to us moving our account over there?
Okay,
Or
my
is
vote's
that something-
taken, but let's take a vote.
I also, Ryan, for perspective, we have so little money compared to other organizations. We don't have a lot of leverage. We're rapidly running out of money. That's why conversations like lanterns are concerning. We cannot afford additional, beyond the contingency we have. So I think we open it up for a voter.
I hear what you're
additional
saying.
discussion.
Thank you, Matthew.
Of course.
Ryan, I will talk to them. No worries.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Hanako,
Aye.
any opposed? Okay, okay.
So there are some documents that Lori need to get working on. When I checked with On Point, they did some research. Currently haven't changed our Secretary of State registration yet with the new board members and the new executive committee. We need to get that done, registration, and there's some other documents that we need to submit for the exec committee to for them to make the change. So we will take care of that.
Okay.
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 Want me to make a note about that?
It's right here, actually. Sorry, that's fine.
If it's enough, we already voted on the bookkeeper.
Okay,
There's a
great.
vote.
So we're all set. All set. All right. So last thing is fundraising.
Yeah, the thing about fundraising, I know we have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
I raised this in the executive committee meeting when we looked at the spreadsheet. It was confusing to me.
Right.
Whenever anything that's supposed to be simple is confusing, it gives people who are well-intentioned all the reason in the world not to move forward with it. Here's the thing that I'm gonna say, like I printed it all out. And I know it was under best intentions that we be paired up on this, but when I opened it, then all of a sudden I was confused, like, am I double doing something, et cetera? And so we need to clear that out.
Okay, good.
I think that I would actually argue there'd be one owner. So like, I know in a bunch of mine, I'm paired with Hanako, and now I have to run around and figure out with Hanako, like who's doing what, et cetera. I would almost encourage us to send it back out and have people claim clearly who they're going to call, because there's a whole spreadsheet as well in here that doesn't have names by it, correct?
There's some that are businesses that are outdated or we know are not gonna be able to give, but we can absolutely do a.
We're having a fundraising finance committee tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We can fine tune this tomorrow.
Okay.
What would be most beneficial from your perspective?
So either you assign or you send it out and say, claim,
Yeah.
or a combination of both.
I think we just send out a list and we say, claim who you have and,
Yes.
I think we just assign it.
Myself and Peter are still meeting with a lot of the larger players in the community.
And then the second part of this is I know Tom, for example, had sample emails.
Yes.
And we have to equip people with those.
Yes,
emails.
yeah.
I know you included the talking points.
I think they're in the SharePoint.
Are they?
Yeah, if
Okay.
not, we can add them in there, but it's.
Yeah.
It's
They're
very.
in the
What do you have?
fundraising folder,
What do you have?
so
What do you
I'll
have?
send it up. again.
I actually think Ryan, you used it when you, when
Yeah,
you
Ryan, you
reached out to the Hawkins, I think you used the formatting email.
Did I don't know that I did. I'll go check.
You did good.
Well, and we have new information too, this
Yeah,
information.
we'll,
that Ty
we'll
gave us.
share it tomorrow after the fundraising meeting and make sure that everything's like complete and very clear in the file.
And we're gonna simplify it, make it easy for you, okay?
Yeah,
And I think we'll just go ahead and assign. If you don't like it, let us know.
agreed. And if they're like on this list, if there are places that you don't think are going to be able to, don't assign.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Wanna make it easy,
Exactly.
because we have 30 days to, bring us more money.
The grants are, but there's more opportunity for grants than.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, great. I'm gonna close the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good meeting, get lots done.
Does anyone want a copy
We'll
of
deal with
the
minutes
strategic
last
planning
next
session
time.
right up?
Yeah, we did not.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is a little summary of our
You
strategic
are-
planning session.
You were
You
very
are
good moderator.
tasked, my darling, with finalizing.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you. Strategic planning. Yeah, follow up.
But I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a messy thing, but I don't know enough details about it to understand.
You could ask for the year that we prior to the bridge. You're very, don't want to repeat what the way it is.
Oh, yeah, let me.
The goal is to have.
But I think if we had had this information, it's not.
Bookstore.
Nonprofits are in the
Market to.